of the week is awkward, uncomfortable conversations. Those awkward, uncomfortable conversations that we've all had with our bosses, with our team members, with colleagues at work, with senior leaders at work, other people at work. We've all had them. And the question isn't really about how many of them have you had, right? That's where we start. But there's something that's more important. But let's start there, though. How many awkward, uncomfortable conversations at work have you had in the last 7 days or the last 7 work days? It might be 7. You might say that's about 1 a day. It might be 14 or 15 because it's about 2 awkward, uncomfortable conversations. Or for a lot of you, it's probably way more than that, honestly. You know, if it's that low, I would go take a look at your calendar right now and remind yourself how many meetings you've been to over the last 7 work days, right? Because it's more than 7. I know that most of you, if you're working right now, so some of you are out of work, you're looking for work, right? And that may be part of why you're watching this, right? Is you want to land that next job. And if that's you, just think about the last time you were at work, you were going to work full time. How many meetings do you have on a day-to-day basis? It's not just 1. Where most of you, it's 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, and it's back-to-back 1-hour meetings, back-to-back 30-minute meetings for 8, 9, 10, for some of you, 12 or more hours a day. That's a lot of conversations. That's a lot of chit-chat. How many of those conversations were awkward and uncomfortable? A lot of them. A lot of them. Hundreds over the last 7 days. But here's the thing. It's not really about the number. It's about the quality of those conversations. It's about the outcome of those conversations. We've all had pull your hair. I'm putting my hand on the edge of the desk right now. I'm bracing myself for this. We've all had 3-hour, they were called summits at my work. We're gonna have a 3-hour summit where we're gonna sit down and we're gonna make a series of decisions about what's happening. And what happens is just, this 3-hour tear your hair out. Oh my God, I really have better things to be doing right now, where it was you did nothing. This is totally useless. It's totally pointless. Why are we here? But we've all also had, and I challenge you to remember the last time, conversations that may have just lasted 5 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. And they were some of the most powerful, possibly even life-changing conversations that you have ever had. That conversation inspired you to take action. That conversation inspired you to shift your thinking about something that then shifted your action and shifted the results. We've all had those. It's not really about the number or how long we're spending in these conversations. It's about the quality and the outcome. Because at the end of the day, if you want to upgrade your career, if you don't want to stay stuck and stay frustrated and settle for mediocre, and I know you don't, that's why you're here. If that's not an option, and you want to upgrade your career, you want to walk the path toward career transformation, then if we boil it down to how do I do that? That's the number 1 question that we get, by the way. How do I do that? The specifics is going to vary from person to person, depending on your context, depending on your model of the world, depending on your experience. The specifics are going to vary. However, if we boil it down to the most common denominator, that's going to be the same for everyone, no matter who you are, where you come from, what your career goals are. How you upgrade your career is you have a series of empowering conversations. That's what it's about. Empowering uncomfortable conversations. Because if it's a comfortable conversation, that's not going to shift you to make a change. That's not going to shift anybody to make a change. Comfortable conversations are cool. Yeah, how's the weather? How are the Bruins doing? Is it hockey season yet? I don't even know. I don't pay attention to that. Sports are not my thing. Unless you want to talk about CrossFit, we could talk about CrossFit. We could talk about that all day. Those are comfortable conversations, right? Because we're just sharing information, we're connecting on a human level, and it's fun. And those conversations are awesome. And it's definitely necessary to build trust, to build that sense of community that's going to provide that solid framework, a solid backbone for those more uncomfortable conversations that involve things like money and promotions. And do I stay or do I go? I might be leaving, boss. I think I'm going to leave. I've decided to go elsewhere. Or those uncomfortable conversations with your team about poor performance, about lack of performance, about lack of engagement, about not following the rules and this has to stop, about following the rules too much and this has to stop. Where's the innovation? Where's the creativity? They're all uncomfortable conversations. Every single conversation that you've ever had that has led you or where you inspired someone else to make a significant change in your life or your career, it was uncomfortable at some level. And of course, it needs to be empowering as well. Because this isn't about, beating people down or causing shame or saying you should do it this way, whether it's to yourself or to others. Conversations we have with ourselves are important as well. There's no room for shame or blame in these conversations. So how do you upgrade your career as a technical manager? You have a series, not just one, a series. You have a series of uncomfortable, empowering career building conversations. That's what it's about. And it's not about how many, it's not about how long, it's what's the outcome. And I can guarantee you that there are several of you out there right now who are not even having those conversations. And that's why you're stuck. You're not having those conversations with your boss about, hey, yeah, boss, I actually do want a promotion. I'd love a promotion. Can you help me get one? Can you help me get recognized? What do I need to do to show up to do it? You're not even having those conversations. And that's why you're stuck. So it's time to ask yourself, why am I not having those conversations? And to reach out for some help if you want to know more about how and how to do it well, how to have those conversations without burning bridges, how to have those conversations without feeling so awkward, how to have those conversations with integrity. It's time to reach out for help if that's what's keeping you back. Like, how do I do it? Because that's what we can help with. But a lot of you are having these conversations, but the outcome isn't there, right? The outcome, you're not moving forward. So for example, you've been having conversations with your boss or senior leaders about, yeah, I love a promotion. This is my path. Please help me get there. I'd love for you to advocate for me. How do I do that? But it's just not getting any traction. It's like in one ear out the other. You're walking on different paths in different directions, and it's just, you're not getting the outcome. You're not getting the praise. You're not getting the recognition. You certainly haven't gotten the raise or the promotion. And so for you, it's very similar too. It's like, how do I do this? I've been trying for months, for years, but yet I can't turn these uncomfortable, awkward conversations into uncomfortable, empowering conversations with results. How do I do that? And really, the answer is, we gotta chat. We gotta know. Like, I can't just give you a prescription. That would be malpractice. I can't just give you a prescription without knowing your situation, knowing where you're coming from, knowing exactly what your career goals are. Without knowing those things and a lot of other factors as well, I can't tell you the how. It would be like a doctor prescribing you a medicine without asking you all the questions about your medical history. How bad is it? What is the scope of this? How is it showing up in other areas of your life? What else have you tried? It's the same thing here. So if you want to know how, if you would like a formula, a prescription, a custom tailored formula, a custom tailored prescription, I realized I was just drawing a heart. a custom tailored prescription wrapped up in a bow and a heart, so that you can have those empowering, uncomfortable, career building conversations that are going to actually result in the results that you want. It's time to book a call with us, thepeoplestack.com/book. I'm going to ask you all those questions just like a doctor would. What's going on right now? What have you tried that hasn't worked? What happens when you do have a conversation? What is the scope of this? In other words, how is this showing up in other areas of your career and other areas of your life? How long has this been a problem? How long have you been trying? I'm also going to get a peek into your world. You're going to tell me about who you are, what's your personality, what's your history, so that I can then have a better sense of whoever you're on the call with, whether it's me or whether it's with Rob, so that we can have a better sense of who you are, what your context is. And then if we get to a place of 100% clarity, and if we don't, we're going to keep asking questions until we do. We always get that clarity because we're experts at this and we know exactly what questions to ask. So it doesn't matter how muddled it feels in your brain right now, you're going to get that clarity. Gotcha, don't worry about it. We're going to get that clarity, and then we're going to say, okay, here's the step-by-step solution for you. We may be the ones to help you implement that step-by-step solution, and if we are 100% confident that we are the ones and that we can guide you on that path, then we're going to tell you what it looks like. We're going to give you all the details of what it would look like to have us as experts in your corner to guide you on that path. But if we come up with a solution for you that's like, you know what, we're not experts in this, we know somebody else who is, or we know some other resources, we're going to steer you in that direction. So that's how, in just 1 hour call, you're going to get so much clarity, so much value, and you're going to get a prescription written by experts who now know who you are, where you want to be, where you've been, what you've tried, how long you've been struggling, all of that. That's how you're going to get so much clarity and so much value out of this phone call. So it's time to book a call, thepeoplestack.com/book. There's no reason to delay any longer. There's no reason to stay in, I keep having these conversations, but they're not getting anywhere, and I don't know how to have these conversations. And I went, sometimes we hear people that are like, the only way that I could ever get a promotion is like to go find another job, and that's one way to do it, right? So we've definitely talked with people who, and I'm laughing because they're laughing at themselves about it, who might just be jumping from contract gig to contract gig. Okay, I'll do the 6 months gig. Cool, done. Let's do this next contract gig. Maybe I'll get paid a little bit more. Okay, cool, done. Now I'm going to do another contract gig. But is that a way to live? Is that your dream, really, to just be hopping from contract gig to contract gig? Or sometimes what people do is they'll take full-time positions, and but basically becomes like you're jumping from contract to contract. You work somewhere for 6 months, you try to have the conversations about getting the recognition, and then, if it's not working, okay, I'm just going to go work somewhere else. Maybe you get a little bit of a raise, a little bit of a pay bump along the way because you are able to, negotiate during the hiring process and get that. Then you work somewhere else for 6 months, you try for 6 months, you try for a year, to have those empowering conversations, to find advocates, but it's not working here, so I'm just going to work somewhere else. And you do this 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 times over the course of your career. And if you haven't been able to do this in 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 different contexts, 10 different places of work, I hate to break it to you, but it's not the context. There's something about the way you're approaching it that's got to change. It's got to change. It's how you're doing it. It needs an upgrade. But if you've been following the same old patterns for the last 10, 15, 20 years, I get it. You're probably stuck in some of those patterns, and it's going to take an expert. It's going to take a truth revealer. That's who we are. We're not going to let you settle for those for those BS patterns anymore. We want the badass patterns. We don't want the BS patterns. We want the badass patterns that are going to help you get the badass career. We're not going to let you settle for that BS anymore about, oh, no, it's because of where I live, or it's because of the company that I work for. No, I hate to break it to you, but if you've been trying this for months or years and it hasn't been working, it's not them, it's you. It's time to take a hard look in the mirror and say, all right, I need to change. It's time for me to change. And we'll help you make that change. We'll help you do it in an empowering way. So go ahead and book a call, thepeoplestack.com/book. We get you. We got you. We love your support. And look, it's time to have those conversations. If you're not having them, it's time to have them. And if you are having them and you're not getting results, it's time to have them in a way that you are getting results, because that's how you upgrade your career. It's through a series of empowering, uncomfortable, career building conversations. And we love you all. We love the support. Please comment, please like, please share. It is how we are all together going to change the world for better, one tech manager at a time. Take care, everyone. Talk to you again soon.